Where do thoughts come from? Something that I've noticed is how lots of various thought forms with different qualities and different layers of composition. In other words, some of these thought forms, it's almost as if they arrive from somewhere else and they might be some kind of amalgamation, a mishmash of maybe one person or even just one trait that came from some person that I might know or might not know. Maybe it's someone I saw on the street 16 years ago in a busy city. It could be anything. And there's an endless amount of attributes and qualities and levels of subtlety of thought forms, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's like how there's an infinite number of, I don't know if there's infinite, but maybe shades of color. But it's way more complicated than that. It's not just one domain of color. It's like thoughts have depth and width and shapes and names and numbers and storylines, and they take place in time. Some of them are really small, big, short, long, and it's just never ending variety in every way imaginable, right? So these thoughts are coming through the mind. Some of them you notice, some of them you don't. Now I've switched to the you, the you form. It's funny how we do that. The I, the you, the we. But some of the thoughts I notice and some of them I don't. Some of them I want to go into and some that I don't. Some of them I try to hold on to, some of them I don't. Most of them I bet I don't notice, I'm assuming, because I don't notice a lot of thoughts most of the time. So is that because I don't have a lot of thoughts or because I just don't notice them? And then, do I want to touch them or not? Do I want to just leave them there? Do they influence my day or do they not? Do I? Is there a thought that comes up that I'm aversive to, and then that changes the direction of my day? Maybe I'm relaxing and there's a thought and it's a negative thought, and I don't even want to know what it is, so I don't look at it and I'm off to the next thing. Boom, my behavior's just been completely changed, not because of my own choice, but because of reactivity. And that can play into things like ADD as well, ADHD as well, those types of diagnoses of how the way that brains work or the way that they're formed, which has to do with your ability to manage all this stuff in your mind and your thoughts. And is it orderly? Is it focused? Is it not? And the mental world is very interesting and it still to me feels so unknown. There's so little that we actually can clearly see or know or categorize about it. All of human thinking is trying to, all the books we've written and everything is trying to like grasp one of those little thoughts and say, ah, yes, I can say something about that. And now I can encapsulate that and share that. And it's very, very strange. Very, very, very strange. And how that changes our behavior, how that is in effect sort of decides what we're going to show up as for today. And where do the thoughts come from? Where do they come from? Do we create some of them out of nothing? Do they are they floating along in some sort of in the space? And some of them we just tune into because we've tuned our radio station to that channel and oh yeah, there's that one. And then we just say, ah, never mind, I'm tuning it up. I'm not exactly sure. I've heard people say all kinds of different things like this, and I don't know for myself exactly how it works. I haven't quite figured it out, or I haven't quite seen it fully all the way through. I don't know if there is one way that it works. There's very little that I can say with any kind of certainty. And then there's also awareness and where it is and how we can direct it, focus it, um, focus on, let's say, the thoughts, which, and then we get into also not only awareness, but also subjectivity and objectivity. We get into, my mouth is getting dry because I didn't actually have any water and I just woke up this morning And now the 5-minute timer is going off. It's dimming my screen. I need some water. Just bear with me for a second. So basically what I'm trying to do here is just notice the different qualities of this conscious experience. And awareness is this weird kind of focusing lens or mirror where we can I don't want to say imagine that we exist, but we can look at something or notice something. And then we can notice something maybe a little bit different. And then we can think, well, wait a minute, who is noticing or what is noticing? And are we actually asking the question, what is the thing that is doing this thing called noticing? Or are we asking, what is noticing? And when we ask what is noticing, are we asking, what does the word noticing mean? Or what is that quality that noticing represents? Or are we asking, what is noticing? And when we ask what is noticing, if we ask the question again and again and again, we lose track of the various, what do you call it, grammar and the meanings of the positions of the words and what they're supposed to refer to. So we could say, what is noticing? So are we emphasizing what? And are we emphasizing the subject that is doing this action called noticing? What is noticing? Are we asking about the object, noticing? Well, we're inquiring as to the quality of that. What is noticing? Or are we saying, what is noticing? Which is more of an action. It's more of a verb. What is noticing? And that's where I get lost, because I no longer exist in that. There's no separation between the object or the subject and the object. So with awareness, it does seem to have kind of a noticing or observing function. And then we can then question itself. So if I'm seeing all these things and I heard a sound. Oh, a sound happened. Oh, well, did the sound hear me or did I hear the sound? And I don't really know. So I look back at, well, what is it that is making that possible? How is this actually even happening? And where is if there is a listener, where is it? Or what is it? Or can I observe the listener? Can I even observe the sound? Can I actually observe the sound? I'm getting ahead of myself here. Because, well, what is the listener? Where is the listener? Oh, and my 5-minute timer has gone off, dimming the screen. What is the listener? Where is the listener? So it's like using this focusing quality to focus on itself. Sounds arise, like a sound just arose that was a train horn and it went boop, boop. And that's all I have to say about that. There's nothing more to it. There's no hidden meaning there other than the one that anyone would make up. There's probably infinite meanings. So when I'm talking about meaning right now, or at least I'm not, but I'm talking about this more primary quality of what awareness is. And I'm focusing on this right now, even though the conversation I wanted to have was about thought forms. Because I was noticing, because we can be aware of thought forms, and there's infinite complexity and variety of that. And it's so mysterious, so strange, so interesting. But then the awareness of that, does that have all these various different qualities that I was talking about with all the thought forms? Like a thought form of, a purple rain cloud that's over the savannah, and then there's the sound of a train, and then there's the eyebrow of a person that I met last Tuesday at the supermarket, and then there's the beginning of an idea of this business I'm gonna create that's selling paper clips, and on and on. And there's just, you can have these little bits of these formations of ideas that are all mushed together, or they're all the same, and you don't even know what's going on with all the thoughts. So you can train yourself with your focusing abilities and say, yes, I'm doing this. Yes, I'm writing this number on my spreadsheet. Yes, I'm having this call with this client right now, and we're focusing on this. So you can try to narrow the scope of all of this and just, you know, um, channel it and hold it in a certain way. I don't really have any clear understanding on how that works or handle on how that operates. So I come back to the awareness bit because it's almost more singular, more primary, and more accessible or more investigatable. So what I'm noticing, well, that just happened. I said what I'm noticing a long time ago. The time has passed. So did I know how fast can my mind even keep up with what's happening, right? I just said the word right, and that was like 5 seconds ago. And then I just said 5 seconds ago, another 5 seconds ago. And then I just said that I just said 5 seconds ago, another 5 seconds ago, another 5 seconds ago. So that right there is your, observing the observer, observing the observer, observing the observer, thinking about thinking about thinking about thinking about thinking. I don't know if you carry that on to, 10 or 100 iterations. Does your brain just kind of give up and then you say, oh, something has collapsed here? I don't know how that works because I've probably only gone out like, I don't know, 5, 6, or 7 or 10 thinking about thinkings before I'm like, this is too much to hold. And then it just collapses like a little Jenga tower. So, yeah, this is the experience. This is like almost a meta cognitive experience of sitting here talking and being aware that I'm talking, being aware that there are words coming out of my mouth right now, and the words that are coming out of my mouth are exactly what they are in this exact moment. And I keep making more noises, and then I stopped making them for a second there. And then I stopped for an even longer time. And then at a certain point, the silence is bigger than or longer than the talking. And then I hear a faint rumbling of water. I hear the distant sound of traffic. And there's another train horn. Maybe it's the same train, maybe it's a different train. Probably the same one, though. The mind tries to figure it out. I hear a car going by on the street that's nearby, that's closer than that other distant traffic. The brain is figuring out what it is. I hear the sound, and the mind's like, oh, yes, I'm interpreting this and calculating the distance. Okay, got it. Now I know what's happening. And then I feel the pressure of my butt on the seat. And then I feel, this is just personal for me, you probably won't feel this one. I feel the uh, gripping of the whatever injury that I've had for the last 3 to 4 years inside the middle of my abdomen, in my stomach and my intestines and all that. I don't want to focus on that. Now I'm resisting that situation. Because I know that the pain, or my experience has shown me that the pain around that and discomfort around that will then sort of dictate how the rest of my day will go, because I'll be working around that, trying to move in ways that minimizes that pain. Why don't I plug in this laptop though, just in case we keep going and I don't want the screen to dim again. I hear footsteps coming from the other apartment. I feel my spine and I'm thinking it's like C6 or C7 and it's tight and stuck and it hurts. I notice that I'm thinking about food because I haven't eaten. I notice that I'm now thinking about the fact that my weight keeps going down because my injuries prevent me from eating as much as I want to. And I'm at the lowest weight that I'm comfortable at before it starts to get really scary and unhealthy once we get down into the lower territory. So I'm trying to think now about planning how am I going to make all the meals I need to make and eat all the food. And this is every single day. So then I'm stuck in that all day. And it just the rest of the day it becomes a game of survival. And for me, survival doesn't look like working 40 hours a week, trying to make ends meet and all that. Survival looks like, can I get enough food into my digestive tract today to keep my weight at a level that I'm not going to get sick and have to go to the hospital? So that does take up a lot of my time. I notice how I'm really kind of stuck in the survival mode now. I was preferring to be trying to explore the mind, trying to figure out other avenues or just learn something new. Now I'm kind of feeling stuck. It's like, it's the time is ticking. If you don't eat now, the longer I wait to eat, the worse it's going to, like, there's less time to fit all the food into the day. And it just starts to get hairy pretty quickly. And this is time management. And this is attending to our responsibilities, even if they're not the ones we would like to attend to, even if we'd like to be operating on a better level than that. Even if I'll just say even if I would like to be joining a lot of the other people in society in more interesting activities or more outwardly focused activities, so much of my time is spent in this room that you see here, trying to survive, trying to keep this body alive through a chronic illness and chronic pain condition that I would consider out of the ordinary. But I don't want to compare. I feel extremely resistant to talking about that in a way and also comparing it with other things in a way. Don't find that that's actually helpful. Because I don't even need to get into it. I don't think it's useful for you, and I don't think that it's useful for me. So now I'm noticing that I've been kind of sitting in a sort of stiff position for a while, and my spine is starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed with the pressure on it, and I feel like I need to get moving. And I'm not looking forward to the fact that I'm going to have to eat breakfast, not because I don't want to, not because I don't like the breakfast or the taste of it, but because it's going to, well, every single other day that I've done this, and so I'm assuming today it's going to be like that too, it's going to create a lot more pain and discomfort for me. And that sets off kind of how the rest of the day is more pain and discomfort. If I could stop eating, I would, and that sucks. And I just refuse to waste away. I've already been there, done that, almost died, wasn't fun. I don't want my life journey to be, I don't want to get into this negative, it's not a pleasant subject. So I guess in the very brief moments of quiet from the fridge and lack of food going through the system are the times when I can actually be a little bit more present, can have some thoughts, can try to explore what's going on in the mind. And I'm just going to be grateful that I even have any time to do that. Even if it's only 5 to 10 minutes a day, I'll be grateful for that opportunity and try to make the best of it. And the relative ease that I'm able to feel in those moments compared with the rest of the day when it's just gripping pain and discomfort in the parts of my body that are what I would associate most with myself, which is my abdomen. And with that, I bid you farewell, and I'm going to go make breakfast and deal with the pain.